Hi everyone, it's Dr. Piontek here. I just wanted to go over with you the assignment that is going to be due this Sunday. It's the technical equipment, the instrumentation, and the key personnel. So I wanted to start off by saying that not every project is going to require technical equipment. So in that parameter, when you're writing your paper, you can just simply state this project does not require technical equipment. But I would like for you to really think about that for a moment, because if you're using any kind of computer survey, like a Survey Monkey, then that is considered technical equipment. If you are going to be implementing a new program in the facility in which you work, where you are distributing information to the nurses or to the staff, and you're using the computers at work, that would be technical equipment. So, for example, one of the students last year who graduated had done a survey using SurveyMonkey, and so that was part of her technical equipment to gather data. And then once she had the data, she needed to, instead of just doing simple frequencies or percentages, she actually ran more inferential statistics. So she required SPSS. So that is also technical equipment. And then her implementation was to administer information to the nurses about various options to continue to get their BSN. So she posted that in the computer system. So it was sort of like when the nurses were finished with their charting, the screensaver, that was one of the images that came up in the roll of images for that facility. Was resources on going back to get your BSN, and some of the schools in the area that offer an RN to BSN program. So that again would be considered as technical equipment. So before you say this project doesn't require technical equipment, really start thinking about that, because it might. Okay, but I just wanted to show you here, if you just list it without explaining how you're using it, that's where the 0 points comes in. So what we want is the proficient. We want you to really give a good description of that technical equipment. So basically what you're trying to do is, if someone wanted to repeat your study, if someone wanted to repeat what you're doing, you're giving them the recipe on how to do that. Okay, kind of think of your capstone as that way. It really is kind of a step-by-step recipe. So that way people who are reading it get a clear understanding, and those who may want to repeat it in a different facility can do so effortlessly. So going on then to instruments and key personnel, I'm going to switch screens here for a moment and bring up this image. So this was a book that was recommended to all of you during immersion week. It's a nurse's step-by-step guide to writing your dissertation or capstone by Karen Rausch. And this, you can actually buy this book if you don't have it already, but you know someone who does, maybe you can borrow it from them. But they sell it on Barnes & Noble for under $20, used copy. So it's not a very big book. It's only, including the index, maybe 140 pages. So it's a pretty small manual. But I wanted to read to you a couple of areas out of this book in the event you do not have this book. So on page 41, it talks about the key personnel. And it begins, for a capstone project, this is where you are most likely required to describe the people involved in your project. You need to work in a partnership with key stakeholders in the organization where the project is taking place. So for this part of your paper, I would like for you to describe who these people are, okay? Who is instrumental in moving implementation of the project forward? Who will ensure you have the resources, including staff, that you need to proceed? Who will provide access to necessary data, such as admission reports, for example? These are just some of the people who might be identified as key stakeholders and on board for the planning stages. So they're very important people who are going to see your project through with you. All right. In addition, I also want you to think about the people who are integral in the other aspects. For example, if you're going to be using a simulation lab, say for example, there needs to be some beefing up in the nurse educator or nursing education office, and they want to use simulation. They have a simulation lab at the facility. So one of that key personnel will be that simulation lab organizer, all right? Because if you're going to be using simulation as part of your project, then you need to coordinate with that simulation organizer, okay? So that's one example of just kind of, if you think of this as a tree, all right? So perhaps the trunk of the tree is going to be that CEO or the CNO of the hospital who's really going to make sure that your project gets implemented, that there aren't any issues, that they're on board. And then start thinking about the limbs of the tree. All right, so one limb might be your preceptor that you're with. He or she might be instrumental in providing you with resources, filling you in on how things may have been tried in the past that may not have worked, so that way you're basically not going down a path with a dead end. And then think about the smaller branches coming off of those larger branches, those ancillary people, such as IT, if you're going to be incorporating something on a revolving picture screen on a computer, for example, to trigger someone's interest in returning to school for their bachelor's degree. Perhaps it would be someone, for example, that I had used earlier of the simulation lab coordinator. So really start thinking about those key personnel and just describe those in fairly good detail so that as a reader, I'm thinking, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They are very instrumental in making this happen with you. Okay, so moving on then to instrumentation. So in this book by Karen Rausch, if you turn to page 52 at the bottom, it says dissertation research, quantitative data collection. In quantitative research, data are usually collected and measured using an instrument or tool, whether it is by some type of questionnaire completed by subjects or a tool used by the researcher to gather and organize observed data. You need to describe in detail each instrument you are using in your study and why it is a good measurement tool for your purpose. You also need to include how the instruments were developed, what studies they have been in, reliability and validity in prior study populations, and any psychometric testing that was done specifically for your study and the results. If you are adapting an instrument for use in your study, you need to describe exactly what was changed and why. And then this is very important. State whether permission to use the pre-existing instrument was required, and if so, that you received it and from whom. Okay, so again, when you're collecting quantitative data, this is data that it's typically a survey. Oftentimes it's like a Likert type survey or perhaps even a yes-no kind of survey. This is really important that if you find an instrument, you contact the developer of that instrument to get permission. Now, at this point, if you haven't already done that, that's okay. You still have the rest of the semester to do that, okay? It really doesn't start hitting in until even next semester when you're working with your chair. That if you still haven't gotten the permission to use the instrument by the end of this course, then really start hitting that for next semester. So that way then by summer you do have that permission, because you will need that information before moving on for IRB approval. So, as I said last week, if you're having a difficult time finding instruments that align with your capstone project, do not hesitate to reach out to our librarians to find a database that will have instruments that you can choose from. And oftentimes when an instrument is being rolled out, you'll have that primary reference, and that includes the validity and reliability. And those are the factors that you need to report on. You need to basically show in your final paper next year that, and even if you can for this course, show that reliability and validity tests have been done and that you are using an instrument that will generate reliable data. So if you are doing more of a qualitative study, this is a little different because you are afforded the ability to develop your own questions. So these are typically open-ended questions, and my recommendation is to sit down with a group of experts in the area and make sure that your questions make sense and really ask the information that you are seeking. In addition to that, if you simply cannot find an instrument that parallels with what you are trying to achieve, you can also do the same thing for a quantitative survey. But I would recommend this being your last resort because, you know, if you get the expert panel together, that is helpful and is necessary because that will give you your content validity of the test, but it doesn't really give you any other measures of validity or reliability. So if you don't have a specific instrument and you've searched just endlessly, talk to your chair about that, and he or she will be able to direct you in the best way to handle that situation. Perhaps there's an instrument that's similar that can be adaptable. Really formulating your own quantitative instrument is a dissertation in of itself. So we try not to do that at this stage. So I hope that helps clarify the expectations for this assignment. Again, just as with the key personnel, with the instruments, make sure that you're describing the instrument. If you already have an instrument and you are certain that you're going to use it, go ahead and just attach it to the paper. And that way I can take a look at it and provide you with any feedback. Also, with instruments, think of the demographic data that you want to collect as well. Now, that is not, you don't have to find an instrument that finds your demographic data. That's something that you can put together yourself, such as gender, age, and years of experience, highest level of degree, that sort of thing. That will also be considered an instrument. So if you're doing a study and you're doing a quantitative, with demographic data, you'll have the demographic survey portion, and then you'll have the actual instrument. So make sure that you include both of those under the instrumentation. So I don't expect things to be perfect, okay? Just to reiterate, this is just getting your feet wet. You still have the remainder of this semester and then, of course, next semester to really fine-tune your project and this paper. So don't get overwhelmed if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even have an instrument yet. Just continue looking, you know, keep working. Next module, we're going to be doing the review of literature, so perhaps something will pop up there, and continue working on that review of literature because that is going to be a big crux of your paper. I'm almost out of time, but I wanted to let you know too, if you have any specific questions, please do not hesitate to email or call me. Thanks, and I hope this helps.